Hi, Michael. My name is Nina Sped. I'm the head of marketing at LAAIMPA, and I would like to welcome you to our winners interviews. And of course, congratulate you on your win in the best sci-fi film category for The Ascension. Truly powerful and thoughtful provoking work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the selection. I'm very honored for this.
Of course, we'd love to ask you a few questions about your film and, the creative process. I'm going to go ahead with the first one. Let's start with what was the original idea or moment that inspired the Ascension?
I guess it's basically being a Nigerian and growing up in Nigeria. We face a lot of problems in this side of the world. Overpopulation is one of them, which was one that I explored in this film. As you saw in The Ascension, it's based in a futuristic Lagos where they have a very bad overpopulation problem. And the government had a horrible way of fixing this problem by tricking these people into thinking there is this new paradise in the skies where they all aspire to go to, not knowing that they're being killed and, turn into these programs that are used to lure other people into the same program. So I'm just exploring a future where these people or my people actually realize that they're being oppressed and stand up to
Mhm.
these oppressors that are disguising themselves as saviors. Like I said, we have a lot of problems in Africa, and I don't think we're gonna remain in this position for a very long time. Even though this is a futuristic film, I know that time will come when African people will learn to stand up for themselves and take their lives back, take their cities back, and actually grow as a people.
I see. Wow, that is such a beautiful story because when we accept the submissions, we never know if the author, the creator, how close he or she is to the story. Are they from the same place with the characters? Do they share something, or is that just something that the inspiration came from? Um, so may I assume that you chose Lagos as the setting for that same reason? And how did you imagine Lagos 3049?
Yeah, I chose Lagos for this story because it's the bubbling hub of Nigeria. It's not the capital city, but it is the major city whenever it comes to, technology advancements, to the choice for anyone who wants to move to Nigeria. The first choice is always Lagos, right? So any company that wants to come into the country as well, they always want to have a headquarters in Lagos. So it's a financial
Mm-hmm.
hub for the country, basically. So I know that in the future, let's say 1,000 or 2,000 years from now, Lagos would have seen a lot of technological advancements. There's going to be, sci-fi buildings, there's going to be flying cars and stuff like that. So of course the tech is going to be there as it's a futuristic city, but so will be the problems. The problems will grow as well. The Lagos right now has over 20 million people, and it's a very small place. I think there's a lot of European countries that are not even up to 5 million. So I know that in the future, Lagos is probably going to have hundreds of millions of people. And it's going to be so bad that there has to be some drastic measures that the government will have to take to solve this problem. And I just reimagine this in a way that, comes close to home, sort of like a dystopian sci-fi film, but this time purely African. There's a lot of Hollywood films out there that have done things like this, but they don't really do it from an African perspective. And I feel like with AI now, we have the power to explore these films, given that we come from this place, we can tell these stories better. And I feel like as Africans, we should be telling our own stories instead of waiting for others to tell our stories for us.
And when it comes to your main characters, the relationship between Adesola, Toby, and Mike, of course, it adds a lot of depth to the story, but what do these characters represent? Are they based on someone you know, or was that completely your creation, or was that an idea of AI, the real talk and their story?
Yeah, so basically, I created the characters with the help of AI. I needed at least some sort of ideation to get the ball rolling. But of course, I had to do a lot of changes to the characters to make them have the personalities that I wanted. Um, with regards to my relation with the characters, I would say the only one that has some sort of relation to me is Mike because I used my name for him and I wanted him to have sort of a funny personality, So
Mm-hmm.
he starts off the story coming at the girls with like asking them both out at the same time. He's funny, he's charismatic. So I wanted him to have something like close to me. But with Adesola, I think she's just the typical strong African woman that is talented. She likes art. Yeah, I think I actually did that because I'm a huge fan of art. I love art. So I added that because of that as well. And Toby is sort of like my little sister, Elsie. So I wanted her to have sort of like a fun,
Shout out
fuzzy
to her.
personality as well.
And then, of course, the reveal scene with the conveyor and robots, that was extremely striking, not gonna lie. How did you design that moment visually?
I didn't want it to be too gory, that's for one, because I know I would post this on social media. So I had to tone it way, way back. And I wanted it to just, show what I wanted people to see. It's a shocking scene. There's bodies everywhere. There's bodies being incinerated in the furnace. There's bodies being chopped into pieces and things like that. But I didn't want to show a lot of gory or R-rated scenes, if I should put it that way. So I have to make it, just to show a few glimpses of what's going on without being too graphic, basically. I didn't want that scene to be overly graphic, so I just wanted it to portray the idea that this is a shocking revelation. There's bodies everywhere, bodies being chopped into pieces, being injected with um, liquids that could kill people instantly, and bodies being incinerated in fire. But I didn't want to show anything too graphic because I would have to share this on YouTube and on social media. I didn't want to get flagged. But if I was to do this film for, say, Netflix, of course, I could go all
Mm-hmm.
the way and just make this a really, really captivating scene with all the blood and gore and things like that that people like to see in these kind of movies. But I had to tone it way down just for this film.
Yes, totally. I can see that, and I thank you for that because for me that was enough. A little bit more, and I would be saying, wow, shocked, absolutely shocked. Scene was so strong. And overall, I guess my question is the use of AI for these movies. For example, the accent that was very unique, and the AI, the graphics for the scenes. Do you mind sharing a little bit about which AI did you use and the back process behind it?
Yeah, so basically my tools were sort of limited back then. I made this film November last year. So we didn't
Mm-hmm.
have close to the tools we have today, which is really amazing because like AI is growing super, super fast. So I used Google Flow for the animation from start to finish, entirely Google Flow. I used Nano Banana as well. I also used Higgsfield for some of the images. So that was just basically my workflow. I didn't have so many tools at my disposal. I had to make do with these. And I think I was able to get away with some of the scenes that I could have done better today, given the tools I had then.
Well, to be honest, the way the acting was happening was extremely realistic. I think this was one of these rare cases, and trust me, we've seen a lot here. The judges, um, as someone who is in AI 24/7, very rare case to see that not only, the skin is there, um, little hair, maybe like sweat detail was there, but not only that, on top of that, the acting felt also very natural. The lip sync was exactly there were no mistakes. Um, Overall, if I were to turn the TV on and watch it, I would not probably be able to tell the difference. So that Google Flow process, the Nana Banana, that really worked. The result is there. But you said if you were to do it now, you would approach it differently. How would you do?
Yeah, so there's tools today that could have gotten me different angles, very unique angles, very different camera movements. There's some scenes where I wanted to do things like a camera shake or some sort of camera movement that I just couldn't prompt into Google View. So
Mhm.
now we have tools like Kling, we have Cdance 2.0. These are really amazing tools that make the work super easy. With Kling and Cdance now, you can actually prompt different camera angles in one single prompt. And it will save you just so much time, right? But back then with video, I had to make every single frame and every single camera angle using Nano Banana. I had to prompt, change this angle to this angle, and it took so much time. And, if I were to do that today, it will make my work so much easier now that I have all these other tools. And, that's one thing that I would say about that.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Um, I do see how that could maybe compress the time of the whole project and give you better angles. And the way you talk about it is like a true filmmaker. Do you have background in it at all? Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, I have a history with content creation and a little bit of filmmaking as well. I started making content on YouTube all the way back in 2017. My first few videos that I posted back then were videos where I would just take my phone and we would make these homemade videos. We would put in these trashy VFX and we'll try to make some action scene happen. I would dress up and I would be the actor. I will also be the director as well. And it was fun. I just loved doing it. And I just wished that I could do this as for a living and I could keep doing this, but the tools weren't there. It was all the way back in
Mhm.
2017. But fast forward about 10 years later, and now here we are. I've been making content on YouTube for a very long time. And a couple years ago, I switched to doing AI filmmaking full time and, growing my skills, making these films and, trying to show the world the stories that we can tell as an African people.
If you could expand the Ascension into a longer project, what would you explore next?
Oh, wow, that's an interesting question. I think I would because the way I ended the story is on a cliffhanger and left a lot of questions, left a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
asking for a part two. Um, so I would make the story consolidate into um her Adesola finding a way out to save not just herself, but her people as well. So they actually were trapped in that um, city of disguise, the the place where they were with their friends, and the guy who was in charge was about to, bust in there and get them, right? So I would take the story in the direction of them finding a way to defeat the villain of the story, finding a way out of that place and, you know, exposing the whole scam, exposing the whole shabacle of people being killed and being lied to. And they would bring down the entire place and also
Mm-hmm.
stop the deaths from happening. And not just that, I would also find a way to create a solution for the overpopulation problem because I don't think it will be enough to stop the Ascension program from happening. They also have to find a way to solve the overpopulation problem without killing more people. So I think there's a long way for the story to be stretched out. It could be a series,
I
there
was
could
just
be
gonna
multiple
say this
seasons
could
out of
be
this.
series.
Yeah, yeah, but of course, with the right funding, anything could happen.
Wow, this is amazing. It could be a feature film, it could be series, it could be so many. The story is there, the story is deep, and the story has um, a lot of micro problems, bigger problems that and I think I just personally want to thank you for using AI for a deeper message, for a bigger message, for speaking out for every community, and for using this tool in filmmaking for speaking out on important issues that are there and for spreading the word and for sharing it on socials and with LAAIMPA.
So much. I appreciate it. Thanks for the platform as well.
Of course. Thank you again for your incredible contribution, and we look forward to seeing your future projects and continuing to follow your creative journey. Please submit those series if you end up doing them. Okay?
Sure thing. I will. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and have a great one.
All right. Bye.